Myra, we're waiting for the assignment. What happened?
I had actually finished, but I had issues with task 5, last part for the flag, just under flag.
Okay.
I could not insert the formula, sir.
Why? You don't know?
I tried to follow, but I couldn't.
Okay, it's fine. So let me just share and explain on these logicals. Are you able to see my whiteboard? I guess you are, isn't it? So, guys, hello, sorry about that. I think my internet is not stable, but it's okay, we'll manage. So I thought first we look at a bit of some theory on logicals. It's a must in your exam. Even the assignments that you'll be looking at, there will be some scenarios where you need to understand these logicals. There are 3 functions that you need to understand in logicals. You have the if, you have the if function. I'll explain each and every function that we're going to look at. You have the and. Where you have come here is proper technology. Then you have the or. So you have the if function, you have the and function, and the or function. Now, there's what we call syntax arguments. My handwriting is not very good, guys, even in real life, so ignore it. Tamara. So here on the if functions, you have 3 arguments. You have the logical test, you have the logical test, that's the first one. You have the results if the value is true. The results if the value is true. If the value is true. Comma. You also have the results, which would say if the value is false. So there are three logicals here. Even the normal conversation that you normally have, Ngandwe, the moment you use the term if, you are bringing in three conditions or three variables. One, you are testing, you have to test the logic. Secondly, what would be the result or the output if the logic is true? And what would be the result if the logic is not met? I'll give this example. If I was in the Middle East, if I was born in the Middle East, I would be a Muslim. If I was born in the Middle East, I would be a Muslim. So what does it mean? One, there's a condition here. Were you born in the Middle East? If the answer is yes, you are a Muslim. Otherwise, you belong to other religious groupings, such as Christianity. So that is what this function does. In all your exams, in a number of assignments, you are actually going to find a component that demands that you come up with an if function. And I must applaud you guys that have started this program early. Your friends are interested in assignments. They will come with the assignments, you see them, but will not allow them. You will see them, but won't allow them. Even last sitting, I was telling them, guys, let's start from the basics. You get to understand Excel. Because in that way, it becomes much easier for you to deal with this exam. It's the easiest exam, but first you need to be very good at Excel. Secondly, you have an and. And apparently, the syntax arguments, they can even go to the maximum. They can go to the maximum. Oh, sorry. Let me just delete this. They can go to a maximum of 255. Maybe minimum to max. Of 255. Which is similar to all. Here, this is mandatory. At any given time, the condition, if it is to be met, it has to be true. All the variables have to be true. If one of the variables is false, it will give you false. So here, all the arguments have to be true. All arguments have to be true. Please write these few notes. So all arguments have to be true. If one of the conditions is false, then it will give you false. And remember that this logic test here, the result that it gives you, it is either true or false. In case you don't know, true, I'll be explaining on this true. True is 1. Oh, sorry, sorry. Let me just do like this 1. False, Tamara, is 0. I'll be demonstrating that in Excel. Please understand that. True is 1. Just try it somewhere. Type true on your worksheet. Type true. Then go into another cell, type 2 or 4 or 5. So if you say 5 times true, it will give you true. If you say 1 plus true, it will give you 2. Understand this. These are the basics that you need to understand. Otherwise, it's a cosa. So here, when we say Mary and John, they'll have to go to Sesheke. And then we say Mary or John has to go to Sesheke. There are 2 different things. It's a must. If we put and, it's a must that those people have to go to Sesheke. If we say John and Mary and Abraham, don't mind my and Parker. John and Mary and Adam will have to go to Sesheke. John or Mary or Adam will have to be in Sesheke. Oh, Ngandio can get me. Who else can get me?
I can get you good.
Oh. So if we say Mary or Abraham or Tamara have to be in Sesheke. What it means is that they can, if Mary is not in Sesheke or want to go to Sesheke, Abraham want to go to Sesheke, and Tamara will go to Sesheke. If you are using an or, it will pick a true. It will false. As long as there's only one true, it will pick. But and is mandatory. So this is more optional. If, for example, you have true, I hope Nando is able to get us now. You have true. Are you able to get us? You have false. and you have false. When you're using or. What is the answer here, Chinzi? If in the or formula you have true, false, false, what's the answer? Tamara. Whereas this side, you have the same true, you have false, comma, you have false. Tamara and Funsa, if you are using or Myra, if you are using an or function, you have true, false, false. What would be the result?
On or, it will be true.
On or, it will be true. Very good. On or, it will be true. Meaning that the conditions have been met. On and on and it will be false. Okay, then now we can go to Excel. Let's look at that function. Let's look at the assignment. So here we are testing the same principles on the and. Here what we wanted, we were just trying to show you that if you have an argument which is true, comma, true, 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 it will give you true. I'll still explain on some few things. So what it means here is that when you're looking at if I do like this, I do this, I say equals if control A equals if control A, I open the function argument like that. So this is how we do it, to say equals if. You press the tab key, if you're able to hear me now. You press the tab key. You press the tab key. You go to the functional, to the formula bar here on the FX. You press the FX. You'll be able to open that. Or you hold Control A. Ngandwe. So if we say equals, if tab, Control A, we open like that. Here on the logical test, Tamara, always know that the logical test, it will either give you a false or true. That is what you want to find. It's a test. So in this case, we have true there. So we are saying if it is true, Amuriokela's daughter. If not, Bill Gates. Okay. And we said, whatever you had code, I can see Andrew, she's having problems with our connectivity. The audio. Whatever you had code, we did actually mention that it should be in inverted commas. So I'll do like this. So as long as it is true here, it will show you that you are Muriokela's daughter. But in an event that I put just one force there, it will show that you are Bill Gates' daughter. If we bring in force, it will give us force there to be like this. Now, understand this correctly. I did mention to you that force equals to 0. True equals to 1. So if I'm here, guys, I say force times force, it will give me 0. But if I say force and true, it will give me 1. Why? Because true is 1 and force is 0. So when you're looking at an AND function, all you're actually looking at is multiplying your force times your force there, times your true, it gives you 0, which is basically force. But if I'm to change this into true, it will give me 1, meaning that as long as there's 1, the conditioning has been met. And if the logic has been met, what will be the result if the value is true? That is what we're trying to show here. Just for you to understand that whenever you're actually using AND, it's all mandatory. Frida, leave this place. It's all mandatory. At any given time when you're actually in your formula, as long as you have the AND function, and within that AND function, there is force, then you're actually going to get the result which comes out because the condition hasn't been met. This was the whole reason of doing this part. Let's go to task 2. This is more or less like, there was a great mathematician called Boolean. So you can use a Boolean. If I do like this, I say, I type here, I say Mary, then I type the other side again, I say Mary. So if I say equals, this Mary in C5 equals Mary in D5, what do you get? You get true, meaning you have met the condition. But the moment I change this and type Tammy, it is going to give me false. This is one component. My team, the team of gurus, this is one component that, that you need to master in Excel. Once you master the logicals or the logic functions, you will be going to greater heights in the area of financial modeling. And that exam of yours, you will not even panic, Tamara, panicking na corporate finance.
Coach, you just start to.
Let's move on. So now, here, all we are actually asking, if we say E1, is it true that E1 is greater than G1? The answer is either it's true or it's false. Is it true that E1, is it true that E1 is less than G1? Yes, it is true. But here, is it true that E3 is greater than G3? No, it is false. But the moment we change that variable to 14, it will give us true. Tamara, you went for your own instructions. I don't know where you got those instructions from. Because what I wanted, I'd already given you leakage. These are the functions that I wanted you to put in there. But the most important thing, I wanted you to explain down why you're actually doing that. Manvela Tiana. Myra, are you there?
I'm here, sir.
Mm-hmm. So next year again, we'll still have these assignments. So will not stop now. I'll always be giving you the functions, the formulas that you are supposed to use. But once you use them, write somewhere in your nice Zambian English, write nicely somewhere down there and explain to me, because the moment you get to know how to explain functions, you actually be almost halfway through your struggles. So that is what I wanted here on task 2, just for you to appreciate the greater and less than, because you'll be using those in your functions.
Sorry, Coach, just to take you back a bit.
Mm-hmm.
The one we're doing, I was writing. Okay, can you go on true and the formula? I want to see what you entered there, because I think that's where I got confused.
Uh-huh. So let me just grow it a bit. Mm-hmm. So here what we did was to pick this E. Let me just redo it so that you see. Was to say equals, we picked the E3 and we're actually asking Excel, is E3 greater than G3? This is what we're asking. Is the contents in E3, is it greater than G3? So it's showing true. So if we change this to 9, it's going to give us false. So this is the function that we showed. Sorry. This one here. Is it okay now?
Yes, I understand this part, but then where I got confused now was the part where when you tell us to open Control A, that's what I was filling in.
Oh, no, the Control A, the way Control A comes in when you have a function. Here there is no function actually. It's just a formula. Functions, if I do like this,
okay.
and if is a function, and is a function. So if I go to if, I say equals if, then I press tab, you see it brings in the bracket. Then I hold Control and A, it will open the function argument box. This is a shortcut to open the function argument box. Just do that. Go okay, on the end of the thing, go try say equals if. Once you type if, then press the tab key. you have two options here, either to go to FX, to press FX, or to use a shortcut where you hold Control and letter A. You press letter A like this. Try it. It works.
No.
Has it worked?
Okay, no, but now I've seen where it's worked, but now I've seen where I was going wrong.
Okay.
You didn't ask us to use the if function, and I used the if function.
I think even my colleague Tamara used the if function. Okay?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's why I went wrong. I was supposed to use
okay.
if function, but you hadn't asked us to use it.
Yes, because what I wanted was you to use these functions here. And even that short video, I don't know if you watched it or you just said, no, let me ignore it for now. Let me just do whatever I have to do. That was also correct. That was also good. But I gave you that short video to give you a preview of what I wanted to see. But the most important thing, I wasn't interested in you getting right. I was interested in you explaining what you are doing. Nando, are you able now to hear us? Oh, Nando, again, she has gone. Okay. So we go to task 3. Task 3, let me explain task 3.
Sorry, sir, before you go to task 3,
okay.
Can you kindly elaborate a bit on how to explain what you are doing? How do we explain it?
So here, basically, what I wanted you to do was by using the greater and less, you were actually trying to ask Excel. But I'll explain it in a different way, but let me just explain it in a strict way. You were trying to ask Excel on whether the first cell where you had 9 was less than the one where you had 11. But ideally, all these things, the greater and less than, what you wanted to find is either it is true or false. That is what you wanted to find. That was the logic. So the logic was to ask, is 200 greater than 150? If the answer is yes, then it gives you true, meaning that that condition under the if, we start now going to my if. Under if, we are saying, if the condition is met, what do we want to see? This is where my friend Tamara went on, which was still good, but that is not what I'd asked. Tamara went on to answer the question that I did not ask. Tamara did this. First, she asked this question: is E1 less than G1? So if the question is true, then it should show less than. Otherwise, it should show equal or greater than. Or greater than, whatever. This is what Tamara answered, which was very good because she went through the whole process, but I did not ask her to do that. But that was okay. She was trying to answer that question that if, for example, it is true, what should be the answer? If it is false, what should actually be the answer? So, Tamara.
Actually, before watching the video, I did this. When I got stuck, that's when I asked you to say, then you told me to say, you watch the video. That's when I did what you have just done.
So that is how Tamara did this. So meaning that if this is 12, it changes the whole thing. Tamara,
Coach, I'm following closely this time. My instruction.
So Tamara answered her own questions. She completed the thought. But here, I just wanted just that part first. So let's go to task 3. So even task 3, what I wanted to try and show you, that you see Excel is a very funny, it's a very funny program. If you look at London and Zambia, which one do you think is greater?
Zambia.
Why? My problems or
I'm
what?
talking about population. Here I went for population.
No, but London, okay, you went for population. Okay. So here, what
Yes.
Excel does, it looks at the first letter and it ranks it in the alphabet, alphabet. It shows which one comes before the other. Strangely, that is what it does. So you will find sometimes financial modelers who understand these things, they can plug in search. Ideally, it doesn't really make sense because you're dealing with text, greater and whatever, it doesn't make sense. But you can come up with a formula based on the alphabet. You want to know which one is actually read earlier than the other, or which one is ranked when you're actually looking at the ranking, which one comes before the other or comes after the other. It's so strange, but it does that. And this is what I was just trying to show you. I wanted you to demonstrate this. If we say, here, London, is it less than Zambia? It should be, isn't it? It's true. Because we are looking at the first alphabet, not my problems, I'm Zambia. So here, it actually checks now. Department is the same, department is the same, that's it. But because there's an H and there's Q, it will start with H. H comes before Q. So it is so intelligent that it is even able to read the text. Imagine Tamara Shwa. If we say, we do like this. So when I'm here, I say, equals. Then I say, is Tamara greater than Mayra? Not the way Tamara was thinking about population. It will answer, okay, whichever way, I don't know the answer. Why is it saying Tamara is greater than Mayra? Mayra, why is it saying that? Why is it against you?
Tunafika patali kuganiza coach.
Yeah. Mayra, why is it that Tamara is greater than you? Why is this computer very against you? Again, why is it against you?
I think it's because M comes before T, so I'm trying to understand too.
M comes before T.
Yes, T is at the end.
Yes, because T we are saying greater.
Oh yes. Oh okay. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now you understand, eh?
Yes.
Matitamara all over Peter.
Coach, I'm following very, very closely today.
Okay, that's good. Mm-hmm. So these are components. Then when you come here under New York, if we do like this, we say equals E5 less than 45 there. It shows false. If we say 3, it still shows false. We say 100, it shows false, because then ideally what it is actually looking at, it is looking at these numbers. If I change this and say, So what it is actually picking, at any given time, if you are trying to compare text and the values will actually come before, or come before text. So like here where we're saying, is this text less than the numbers here? It's saying false. Why? Because numbers at any given time, they are rated to come before text. Strangely, but that is what you need to understand. This software, guys, this program, this what call it a program. We go to task 4. So it was on issues of text and alphabets. So it was a very difficult question.
Can we also do the row number 3 as well for department?
Yes. So here, if we say, is E3 less than G3? What do you think would be the answer there, Tamara?
It will be true.
It will be true because H comes before Q.
Yes.
Myra, understood?
Understood, sir. I only got mixed up because in your video there was false there. So I think maybe there were different letters in the text.
You know, in the video, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe or something, yeah. Okay. Then we go to this. Here is still the same thing. Whatever conditions you have in the and there, if there's false, even if you have 200 of these syntax arguments in there, as long as there's false, it will give you false. So here, what were we trying to do? We're saying, and is E2 less than G2? Yes, that is true. Comma, is G2 less than I2? Yes. So it will give you true. So I can review, just do that. Then I take you to a function you can use to evaluate the formula. I think that is key. A function you can use to evaluate a formula. Even in the exam, when you do something, but it gives you some whatever, you can evaluate your formula to see whether what you are doing is correct. Have you done this, Myra?
I have the second row.
So now,
I've done what you've just done.
Yes. So then now, to evaluate a formula, guys, you go to formulas. You press on formulas, go to formulas. Now that you are used to shortcuts, you can just say Alt M. Then you go to evaluate formulas here where there's a V. Yambani kuchako practice to my shortcuts so that you get used. Your hands are still a bit sticky until they become a bit faster and softer. So you do Alt M, then you go to V. It takes you to V. This is evaluate formula. So what I'm saying is that you go to formulas if you don't want shortcuts, but this is the right time to start learning these shortcuts. Then you go to evaluate formula, you press there. So on evaluate formula, we want to see first E2. It will show you what is in E2. So are you all there? Do you have this box?
Yes, coach.
You cannot learn riding a bicycle without falling here and there and using. You cannot learn riding a bicycle using an online game. You cannot. It's not possible. So let's try it together.
True.
Have you opened this? So
yes, coach.
So when you press, check what is going to happen in your formula. Your formula is in there, isn't it? You're able to see the formula. So each time you press evaluate, it will show you the number in E2. Have you done that? So when you press evaluate, it shows that in E2 there's 5 there.
Oh.
Then again, when you press G2, this is how we evaluate these financial models that we look at in our companies there. Never the transactional advisors or gurus, financial modelers out there from South Africa, from Europe, create these financial models for their projects or for the projects, for our projects. This is how we sit to start evaluating. So you can do that even in the exam. When you see this number doesn't look, maybe I've missed it somewhere. Then G2, watch what G2 is going to turn to if you press on evaluate. So it shows that 5 is less than 8. It's true, yes. Again, continue pressing evaluate. It will take you again to G2. So it will show you the first part, Jenziyama comma, when you are done. It will show that this first argument is what? Is true. Hello, are we there?
Yes, sir.
Then again, you continue, you press evaluate again. You press evaluate, bam, it shows you that G2, there is number 8. Again, when you press I2, there is number 10. You press again evaluate, it will show there's true. So then when you press evaluate here last, it will show you those true, what they mean, that now it has gone to what? To true, because it's true is 1 times 1. Which gives you true. This is your final answer. I hope you're enjoying this.
Yes, Coach Match.
Okay. So here in the exam, sometimes it's not really important to again go back, you start doing the formula. If you check that the formula in B must be the same with the formula in the other whatever, you just pick this formula here because they look like they are the same. They are all the same. It's less. I just pick this and take it in here. Oh, the copying, guys, copying, in case you've forgotten, is Control-C. That's a shortcut. You Control-C, you're copying. Then when you go into A4, Control-V, you're pasting. Otherwise, Tamara Zaivala, Tamara. Control-C.
I've got you into Ziva.
Copy. Control-V. Control-V, paste. Now, you have Control-D. You know what it means, Control-D? Control-D means duplicate. Duplicate what is in the cell above. So you are just duplicating. If I show here, I type, for example, I type Tamara. When I go down here, just type Tamara, then do Control-D. It is going to duplicate whatever is in top. If it's a formula to duplicate that. So if I do Control-D, it has duplicated. I see sometimes people want to copy this and it come there and paste it. There is no need. You just go down there and do Control-D. Right? If you have 2, 3, for example, 3, maybe 6, and just do that, 2, 2, 3, whatever, just put those numbers in there. Let me know when you're done.
Done.
Mhm. So,
Hello, coach.
yes, Tamara.
Pangono tab at Mr. Bunch control D.
Oh, now the same thing you do control C there. Why on upper? If say for example, if there was Myra, I go here. I want this same chan text it per member. If there's no formula, I want to copy Myra here on top to have it pans here. So you hold control, then press D. Let me know if it works. Myra, has it worked? As we are waiting for Tamara.
It has worked here, sir.
Okay. Tamara.
Okay, it's worked.
So it means duplicate what is on top. If there's a formula, it will duplicate the formula. If there's just a hard-coded text where you haven't put in formula, it will duplicate that thing per member. You don't need to copy and paste because the process then becomes longer.
Sir, just a minute. I'll take you back a little on row number 4.
Row number 4.
I'm actually having a true on my side.
This one? Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's do it. They will say and equals and. So I can even just open, say Control A. We open the function argument box so that you see it well. The first argument is that is E2 less than G2? Is 5 less than 10? Yes, it is true, isn't it? So it has given you true here. Are we there? Then I go to another logical tool. Is G4 less than, is 10 less than 8 in I4? It is false. So 1 times 0, it gives you 0. 0 is false. And to show you down there, that is false. Check the number that you have in there. Maybe you have a different number.
No, I understand. I think I wasn't really picking I4. I was writing 14.
Oh, okay.
Yes, now that's the answer. Thank you so much.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much. So now, here, these numbers, if you just multiply, say, equals this 2 there times 3. That's 2 times 3. Press enter. So there are times when you want to pick the formula in here. You want to bring it there. So that you also multiply 3 times 6. You don't want to redo that. Some people do a long cut. Just follow through. Don't do it. They'll say that 6 there will say Control C, copying. Then I'll come here and say Control V to paste it. But because you are going through Koskata's Academy, Tamara, you have to be sharp. You have to be very fast. So you don't do all those things. You just hold Control and D. Just Control D while pressing up a mouse. Okay. So you have seen that E, it's picking 2 times 3. But then what you want, you want to pick this formula in here so that to have it down there. Oh, my internet is not stable. So instead of doing my long cuts, you start, when I'm in there, I do Control C, then I come here and say Control V. I'll waste time. And because you have been trained by Coach Carter, so you have to be somewhere there as well, right? So what do? You hold, just press Control and D. Press Control and D. Vikuma vizajaela, you know apa vikachi focus vizajaela. Control and D like this, and leave it. Let me know if you do it correct. Myra, is it okay?
Yes, it's okay.
Tamara manjwa kwani sai? So you should be writing, because I'll be giving you these shortcuts. Every day you'll be finding new shortcuts each time we meet. So just continue writing them and go and practicing. The best way to know shortcut is to practice. Start kwameno ku Botswana kwako. Start find 2, 3, 4 students after lockdown. Kwambo punza ku financial modeling. So now, the same thing here, what we said, I just said, string your own formula. So basically, obviously, you could have just picked, I'm sure I just picked this formula there because they were in the same format. I can change this, put here same numbers, whatever numbers that you want to put. Then what we're saying here is equals, and Control A, you open it like this. So the first logic is this number in there less than this number there? Is this number here less than this number there? And you enter. That is what I wanted. Is it okay? Any questions up to there? Any questions?
Up to here, Coach Me, I'm okay.
Okay, thank you. You'll see now when we go to intermediate, currently on the basics, just to show you functions, doing 1 or 2 things. When we go to intermediate, it starts getting a little bit tougher and tougher, but by then you will be very, very good. I want by next week, we're going to intermediate. Then when you're at home, develop small after you have learned some few things. Eka budget ka kunyumba, do ka financial model wa muda besako edvan. Tuma forecast, tuma shine wako nyumba, but don't be over serious in these things. Bazaka kusekane ba chuklo. So let's move on. So now, here, guys, let me interpret what was happening. I know you are just doing it based on the function that I've given here. What we're actually saying, if say in 2006, if the growth, say for example, was positive and it's within budget, you should not flag it. Flagging, it means that there's a problem. If you hear CIA or FBI saying, Myra, we have flagged Myra, like the way this Interpol flagged who, that lady was very clever than all of us who stole some good money, not really stealing, who got people's money from Barclays.
Pamela Gondwe.
That one, she's a superstar. So when she got that money, what the Interpol did, flagged the Gondwe or Pamela. Zambia police flagged Pamela. You only flag when there is a problem, there's something that is there. So in these financial models, guys, we normally have flags. When you see that flag coming out, then you know that there could be something wrong here. So there was a condition in creating this this flag, in trying to come up with a condition. The condition was, if the growth is positive, but it is not within budget, flag it. If the growth is negative, but it is within budget, still flag it because it's not a good thing. If the growth is positive and it's within budget, do not flag it. There is no problem. We are not going to even look at it. Do not flag it. So you will see in a number of models that we develop, or what astute financial modelers do, they bring in flags. Because whenever you see a flag, whether it's an X or whatever they have used to flag it, just know that there should be an issue here. So this is how it was. It was equals if, you open if, you bring in O, you type O, again you tab. Once you type O, you tab. But then here, I want to open the O syntax argument. So I'll hold Control A like this. So I have two logics here. The first question that I'm asking, is this number in here, the growth, is it less than 0? Yes, meaning in the negative. I go to logic number 2, Tamara. Logic number 2, we are actually asking, is this number in here, is it within budget? That yes thing, we are saying, is that number equals to no? So we are done with the logic. We are done with the logic, because in this, if the first part, the logic test, it only gives us a condition whether it is true or false. So then we take our cursor, just check where the cursor is going. I'll take it to if here. Whenever you're nesting these functions, you need to know how you activate one part of your formula. So I'll take my cursor there where there's an if and press on the if like this. So you see the logic test, I'm done with the logic test and it's giving me true. Why? Because or, as long as there's a true test within the or function, whether I have 200 conditions and within those conditions, there's one which is true, it will give me true. It is not like, or it is unlike and. So now, if it is true, if the value in here is true, if this is a condition that has been met, where it's either it's no or it is lower than 0, what do I get? I have to flag this. This is where we put the X. I'm flagging it. I've said it's like a small X, okay? I'm flagging it. But if everything is within, if everything is okay, then I should leave it blank. But you don't leave a function like this at blank, no. You put inverted commas. Let me just magnify so that you see. Here now, guys, I'm saying, if it is true, give me X, flag it. Otherwise, leave it blank. But in leaving it blank, I'll put inverted comma, again inverted comma, meaning that there's space, I've left it blank. Then I'll press OK. Tamara?
Yes, coach, I'm following.
I'll press Alt. So this is how. So if I take it down here, up to there, if, for example, I change this where there's yes, I change it to no, it will flag that thing. If I say this where I have a negative, but it's within budget, I say it's 5%, it will unflag it. Let me just give a practical example, Tamara. In this COVID era, there are certain things that you can develop a model, not really a financial model, a medical model. The first thing is he coughing? Is he coughing or is she coughing? Or she has lost a sense of smell or whatever they call it. Or she has diarrhea, or if it's my side effects.
Chest pains.
Chest pains.
Sore throat.
Sore throat, whatever. So you're putting my conditions again.
Yes.
We are going to do that. Just wait in a moment. If any of those is true, flag. Just flag. This is example I'll give. First, you have these conditions. We are saying cough. I don't know whether it's a dry cough or it's whatever. What type of cough is it? Tamara. I don't think it's just any cough. Do you think so? Do you think it's any cough? Tamara was in my foot. Just remove some cord. Okay, let me just put it somewhere here. Let me just do this here. So we say you have, is it cough or dry cough? What type of cough that you can use to flag?
Dry cough.
Dry cough, huh? So we say dry cough like mine. Then we are saying sore throats. We'll just put maybe 3, 4. Then we are saying what other thing? Chest pain.
Will be COVID.
Chest space. Let's put the last one.
Loss of smell or taste.
So, loss of smell or taste. Or what? Taste? Like this?
Taste. Yes.
So
yes,
these are the conditions. These are the things that you can use to flag. Okay. So now, this patient X comes, or this citizen, I don't know. This citizen. let's say patient, or whatever. So we ask this patient, you are a new nurse at some hospital, or someone is a new nurse, you have developed this model for Ministry of Health. You don't want people to be doing a lot of guesswork. So what you're actually saying is, you ask the conditions of the patient. So the patient says, on one, you say the top 2 or 3 things that the patient is feeling. Let's say maybe 4 or something like that. So here, the patient says, one has headache, is bleeding, maybe has only 3 things, and headache, bleeding, then maybe vomiting. Right? So as the patient is saying, you are entering these things. Then now you have this model. So to show the status of the patient. This is at the COVID. This is at the COVID center. All you're interested in, you're not interested in moving in church now. So now here, all you are interested in is, so say equals if, do that, or tab. I can now open the whole thing. So I say if this equals to what the patient is saying, or this equals to what we have found with our patient, or if this is whatever we found there, if this, if this equals to you have done that, or you're just observing, watching?
We are observing.
You never learn how to ride the bicycle like that. So let's move on. Okay, just observe for now. Now, I go back to the if. So I'll go to the if. So these are the conditions. So I'll say, if it is true, rush the patient for COVID-19 tests. And self-isolate. If it is false, refer the patient to non-COVID medical experts. Press OK. And just grow it a bit so that you're able to see that. Okay. Then here, I would say, okay. Okay. So now, if, for example, this patient says, has headache, this patient has maybe headache and has sore throats. So you have seen, rush the patient for COVID-19 tests. If this person has those sore throats, also chest pains, to show that. But here, if the patient says, no, for me, I'm feeling drowsy. I hope that's the right spelling.
Yes.
And I have sight problem. But then I'm also shivering. So it says refer the patient to non-COVID medical experts. So you can develop a small model like that with all the types of diseases, and you just load all these things. Myra, does it make sense?
It does a lot of sense.
So this is where you are actually. So if you wanted, instead of doing that, you can put in a flag. So instead of all these things that you have put there, where you're saying refer the patient, whatever, I can put an X, then there I can put a blank. But here we actually say, if there's all this, rush this person to such whatever. This is what we are doing here. These XDs, we are flagging. So remember that as we move on, I'll be giving you now my assignments with tasks where I say, there's such a thing. If you find such a condition, flag. If you find whatever, don't flag. It should be just my small case studies that I'll be giving you. You become gurus. So here, I don't know if it was Cheesy or Tamara who made the mistake. One of the two got this formula and took it there, and I knew that they were going to make that error. Brought it here. So you know what this thing it was hitting? It was hitting on wages, because this formula is picking from C here. So it was hitting there. So instead of D22, it was hitting on C22. So you can shift this literally like that, or you can just redo or come here where there's C22 and type D22 like this. Hello?
Oh, I didn't copy it. Eh?
I don't know if it was you or Chinzi.
Oh, no. No, I wrote D22.
Yeah, you got it right. It was one of the two that, yeah. So it was Chinzi who actually made that error. Does it make sense now? The logical.
So I'm kindly asking you a bit backwards on that same formula, the one you've just put.
Okay, let's redo it. Instead of copying, we say equals if, type equals if, press tab, or do that with me. Let's move at the same time, at the same rate. Equals if, open bracket, or are we there?
Yes, I will.
Then press tab. Then Control A, so that we open the function argument box. Later on, when you have a bit of some enhanced confidence, you will stop opening this function argument box. You'll be able to read functions without opening them. But I think it's important now because yes, you're learning. So here on the logical, first thing that we're asking is here under growth, B5, is it less than 0? or the power has gone. Okay, yeah. Okay, we're almost done. Or here we now say is what is in D22, is it equal to inverted comma? No, inverted comma like this. Okay, let me just expand it like this, guys. Myra, are we there?
Following.
Now, I'll go and press on the if, Tamara. I'll press here, go, so that I open the if. So if it is true